Oh my god, there's so many people there.
And then Cold War X, Cold War. Oh! Oh!
You know, just another day. Just another day.
Yo, what's good, Hot Peppers? We got to cover your class though, because it more than likely sucks. If you didn't know already, Assault is the broken meta to use. This allows you to literally have an overkill class. Now, as far as the attachments, this is the most important part. Click over to Customize. I would just tell you straight away what attachments these are, but since it doesn't give the name, I'm just gonna have to click on them one by one. You're gonna want the flash hider as the first attachment, so you can reduce information revealed when firing. Then the second one, you're gonna need the carbon barrel to increase that bullet velocity. Third, full angle to increase the ADS speed and the draw time. Fourth, I like the 8-round magazine just because if you miss a shot, you can just simply shoot again and you have more bullets to shoot instead of just constantly reloading. Tungsten core, this is great for bullet penetration. DLC bolt, increase that rechamber speed. And then the optic, which I believe a lot of you guys might end up changing. I use the default scope. I like it personally. If you want to go ahead and change it to the PVQ31, this gives the ACOG COD 4 reticle, which I'll show you guys right here. It's a little triangle. I'm not a fan of it personally. I find myself getting better headshots with the default attachment. Now, since we're in firing range, I'm going to break down the damage range multiplier. So if you're up close by like 10 meters and you shoot in the chest, you're going to get a 64 damage. The further the range is, the better of a chance you're going to be able to get a one shot. So I just shot pretty much to the high upper chest, kind of more towards the collarbone. And you notice that I got a one shot. Now, I did find a little trick. If you change the range of your sniper, if you look in the bottom right, it says 100 meters. If you press the B button on your keyboard, you can change it to 200, to 300, 400, and 500. Now, if you have that 500 aiming at the chest, notice how it is a one-shot kill. Now, I wouldn't recommend this in every possible gunfight because the purpose of this is that it basically shoots on top of where you're shooting, correcting the bullet velocity for your sniper. So instead of just aiming above their heads, so if I were to shoot 500 meters on a 100 meter range, it's not going to land there because the bullet flies above where I'm shooting. Now, if you're like me, if you're like a hit scan and you like just simply aiming at the head and not having to worry about the game doing the aim for you, then just keep it at 100. Tune that as you like. Now let's go back and let's go over the settings in game. A lot of this is going to be personal preference, but since I'll be asked what settings I use, I'm just going to go over them. If you want to copy any of them, by all means, that is totally up to you, but I think you should take the time out of your day, just about 10 to 15 minutes going over them and testing out to see what you like. I am currently rocking a 800 DPI, so my in-game sensitivity is about a 27. It's pretty high. I'm more of a wrist and forearm and fingertip aiming type of guy. So one tip that I recommend for most people is that if you're struggling on controller, I would definitely consider switching over to keyboard and mouse, as it is much easier to aim with a mouse for sniping compared to controller. Controller, it's not as smooth as it is compared to Call of Duty. Gonna go over my control settings here. I really didn't change my field of view. I really like it just how it is. But now going over to the graphics, I went on performance and I went graphics quality on custom. So if you go to the graphics here, you go modify. I am gonna be so real. I copied Iceman Isaac's settings on the graphics here. So big shout outs and credit to him. My game has been running a little bit smoother than usual, so I'm able to run OBS and game at the same exact time now, so which is great. Make sure you have the world motion blur and the weapon motion blur off, including the camera shake amount to 20, because I know that used to be at 100. Off, full screen mode. Make sure you have that enabled. Oh, and also for any snipers out there that love going for clips, if you want to have the kill feeds for yourself, you can show kills made by self for the kill feed. So now the fourth tip, it's the most basic tip of them all that a lot of people tend to forget about, is your crosshair placement. A lot of the times I see players always aiming at the ground and or just leg level. You got to be aiming as high as possible with those crosshairs. Literally just treat it like you're playing Valorant. Those environmental head glitches, literally your crosshairs should be there at all times. And the fifth tip comes in with sprinting less around corners. Look, I know it's not that big of a difference, but if you're a player like myself, the animation does come in play when hitting your shots because it's the animation, it's the movement of the game, how you feel immersed into it. So you want a smooth animation of going in and out. That's what she said. As I mentioned earlier, if you are having troubles with close range gunfights, try considering having your gunfights at longer range. So I'm not saying you want to go play Conquest and play Iron Pass and snipe the entire game. Obviously, you want to play other maps and be able to snipe on those as well. So when you play maps like Cario and you get into those buildings where there's close range gunfights, keep a distance, change the direction. And if you get into those close range gunfights, then when you get a hit marker, swap to the pistol or swap to the shotgun. Whichever it is, pay attention to how you're engaging your gunfights. Moving on to the next tip. This one is counter sniping. A lot of the times when you're playing on Iron Pass, you notice that you are going against other snipers as well. And you're probably going to be getting stomped. So how do you counter that? Well, as a professional sniper myself, there's two basic fundamentals. One, being faster, or two, outpositioning the sniper. And third, I guess, would be a bonus, simply having a better shot. When counter sniping, you want to be able to use whatever environmental cover that you have that is around you. Now, instead of just simply peeking the same exact spot behind a rock, on the right side of a rock, switch it up and go left. I know that sounds ridiculous, but a lot of the times, most snipers think you're going to peek the same exact position, or at least most players think this same exact way. So repositioning helps a ton. Another tip to follow up with that is utilizing a little bit of the movement of the game. Now, I'm not saying crack out movement like you're playing Apex Legends or you're playing Call of Duty with that crazy omni movement. What I'm saying is when you sprint and you hit crouch or even slide, you actually become a little bit harder to hit. Or even if you go left to right, that sometimes can lead the enemy to missing their shot. And when you hear them miss the shot, that's the time when you take your shot. Because when they're cocking back and they're still peeking, that's when you come out and take their head off. My next tip is going to be don't lead as much. Even though I'm at 100 meters with my sniper, when I'm at gunfights that are over 100 meters, I don't really try to lead the shot or even go further beyond it. Literally, a lot of the times I've been noticing that I just need to hit directly on the head and stop treating it like it's Fortnite where you need to lead your shots like insanely far. That leads into my last final tip, and that is shooting twice is better than shooting once. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of times we find ourselves trying to get a headshot from a long distance range or even close range, when sometimes instead of just thinking about it so hard, we're wasting too much time trying to aim at the head when we're much better off just shooting twice. I find myself getting one-shot kills when I don't think about it as much and simply just thinking, okay, I just need to shoot the guy twice. And funny enough, half the time, they're already going to be one shot. So 80 damage is going to be more than enough. They probably already have damage already from my teammates and or the environmental explosion that's coming on from the map. So once again, don't think so hard about it. And if any of these settings, class setups, tips help you out, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, share this with your friend, so that way you guys can squad up together and have a great time sniping on Battlefield 6. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. We got more Battlefield 6 content and, of course, Call of Duty content on the way. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Our forces secured the objective.